years. Now, you know, my man Romeo Crennel and old boy, I can't think his name, he's the offensive coordinator years ago. He blew it at Florida, he blew it at Notre Dame. I can't think his name. Somebody drop his name in the chat room. Since them, after them, every coach that came from that Bill Belichick tree has tried to duplicate Bill Belichick's style, and it doesn't work. The only way it's going to work if you do what Brian Flores did and get rid of everybody, run the risk of destroying your team around and then build it back up. Charlie Weiss, thank you, RC. And after Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, these dudes try to be Bill Belichick clones. The dude up in Detroit, he only got 8 more wins as a coach than I do. And he's been a coach for 3 years. Thank you, Ron. So you've been a coach, a head football coach for 3 years in the National Football League. I've been a coach for no years, and you got 9 more wins than me. But see, the thing is, think about coaching and coaching brothers to be specific. Brothers got these brothers that yell at them all the time. So we're not unfamiliar with a man yelling at us in our face, talking reckless. That's not a problem to the brothers on the sidelines. Because they want you to believe, oh, see, brothers don't understand the discipline. Yes, we do. I've never met, you know what, my coach, Jimmy Field, rest in peace, never used to yell. And Coach Carter, who was on my show last week, he reminded me he doesn't use a whistle, and Jimmy never used a whistle either. But most coaches that come from our community are yellers. So we don't have a problem with being coached hard. If anybody in this chat room play football, you probably got coached hard, coaching in your face, cussing at you, calling you MFs and all this, grabbing by your face mask. So we don't have a problem with that. But these dudes are some punks. See, the reason Bill Belichick can yell at you is because, think about it. You've never heard any player say anything bad about one Bill Belichick. You heard the media say something about him. Like Jungle said, they're trying to discredit him. You heard the media say something bad about him. But you never heard players say something bad. Lawyer Malloy, Ty Law, Seymour, McGinnis, all got cut by Bill Belichick, and they swear by him. But these other dudes think, I hate to run my sister down like this. See, my mother was a yeller. And my sister think yelling at people is cool. So she tried to yell at you. Me and my other sister used to look at her like, if you don't get your ass out of here with that yelling and shit, you ain't mama. And these dudes ain't Bill Belichick. That's why they have no credibility. That's why they have no credibility. Cunningham lost Chris Carter. Culpepper lost Moss. Cam lost Steve Smith. Ted again. Vic lost Deshaun Watson. That's why they always taking black QB's weapons. See, they are taking I agree with all those because I've heard things about Randall Cunningham being difficult in his Philadelphia days. They wanted to get arranged and let take Steve Smith out of the locker room so Cam could take over. And Ted again, he shouldn't be getting mad at nobody when he passed. He dropped. But I heard about that. And Vic and Deshaun Watson fell out. I heard about that too. But they always take brothers' weapons away because they don't respect the black quarterback and they don't want him to continue to excel and prevail. Shout out to Nas. But that's what I think it is. They don't want them to excel, Jungle, because if you look throughout the history of the game, for an extended period of time, you cannot think of any brothers that had some serious weapons. Warren Moon had Jefferson, Givens, and Hill for about 2-3 years, and they got rid of him. Then they sent him to Minnesota when he was pretty much over with, and then they got rid of him. As soon as he got a rhythm with them, they got rid of him. McNabb. Oh yeah, we all know about McNabb and T.O.D.B. McNabb was out there with James Thrash, Freddie Mitchell, Fred X. Get the hell, mister. I almost slapped myself for saying Fred X. You cannot, look, at the moment McNabb started to get weapons, he was finishing, he was beat up because he had the dumbest coaching. He was winning in spite of Jeff Fisher. The bros don't get those breaks, man. The bros don't get the only dude I can say is up there with Minnesota Well, bruh got some breaks, and then he blew out his knee. Dante Culpepper. He blew out his knee when he was starting to get it rolling. But by and large, the brothers don't get no weapons. So, I can't remember when John Elway didn't have some good receivers. Dan Marino didn't have good receivers. Joe Montana didn't have good receivers. And I don't mean Jerry Rice. I'm talking about John Taylor. I'm talking about Skeets Nehemiah. I'm talking about Mike Wilson. Those dudes were very good ball players. They just wasn't Hall of Fame. They wasn't Hall of Famers and household names. So, it's amazing to me. But I do believe that these dudes try to be fake Belichick's O'Brien, and I can't think of the clown up there in Detroit with no reputation trying to yell at somebody. Man, you need to cut it out. You need to really cut it out because you haven't established enough credibility to be yelling at people. All of a sudden, though, hey, how about this though? Ain't nobody talking about my man Flores down there from the Bronx, New York. Ain't nobody talking about my man down there in Miami. He's doing the damn thing. I told y'all at the beginning of the last season, he is not tanking. He's cleaning house and creating his own culture. McNair had to throw the Frank White because Jeff Fisher coached defense on both sides of the ball. Right. He was slowing down McNair and the other team with his dumb ass. How in the hell did he last so long, Jungle Brother? But yeah, man, this fake Bill Belichick thing gonna have to stop. Now, one thing I will agree with, and I saw my man Swagoo on ESPN this morning, he was saying that even though Dan Orlowski said at first, I'm not giving Dan Orlowski no credit because he's a simpleton. I believe that. And but I dissed somebody one time on Twitter and they responded in a nice way and I felt bad. He used to play the backup quarterback for the Giants. He played for Florida State. I dissed him and he was like, man, I told him he had the personality of a shooter. He said, I hope it's a Jordan. And I felt bad. But with Dan Orlowski, when Dan Orlowski hear this, I mean what I just said. Danny Cannell. And, but I do believe Jameis Winston needs to go to Pittsburgh. The reason I think that Jameis Winston needs to go to Pittsburgh is because if Mike Tomlin can win football games with a racist and a dude named Duck, he can teach Jameis Winston. One of the things he told Ryan Clark he would rather have a quarterback that takes chances and he has to reel him back than to have a quarterback who's afraid to take chances. Jameis Winston is that. And if they can win in spite of Ben Roethlisberger, they can definitely win in spite of Jameis Winston. So, and then at the rate running backs is going, they're going to get Taylor up in Pittsburgh, and then it's going down. Super Bowl shuffle will set you free. That'll be dope for Mike Tomlin to win his second Super Bowl next year in Tampa. And Jameis be at least the backup quarterback. Go down there and just throw it in their face. Speaking of Super Bowl, I respect the hell out of Coach Harbaugh. Coach Harbaugh is the first coach in the NFL. Actually, the second. Bill Cowher. There must be something going on in that AFC North because Bill Cowher said we're gonna construct the offense around what's his name? Stewart. And then 20 years later, my man Harbaugh said he gonna do the same thing with Jackson. Big ups to both of them, man, because they realize we can win with what these dudes do best. To me, that's what coaching is. Taking what you have and overcoming any obstacles in regards to what's going on. That's what coaching is. Mike Tomlin showed y'all what coaching is. I say he should have been coach of the year last year, but I ain't gonna trip with Harbaugh. But I do believe that Jameis Winston should go to Pittsburgh, hit the reset button because of this and only this. I'm not saying that Jameis isn't good enough for San Diego. I'm not saying Jameis isn't good enough for any place. But what I am saying is this will be the first time Jameis actually had a chance to sit down and learn. And you know that Jameis will learn because Mike Tomlin will take the time to teach him. So I'm not rooting for Jameis's demise, but I am rooting for his comeback. Now, with that being said, speaking of demise, Jungle mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna mention it right now. Bill Belichick, NFL coaches these days want quarterbacks want quarterback long bombs, no rushing, third and 8. That and Ron, you know why I think I totally agree with you. You know why I agree with you? Because they have done away with the running back position. They continue to do away with the running back position, and guess what? The NFL brings people, no disrespect, Lisa, people like Lisa and Unique, and I'm using them as examples for all women. They attract women to the game with fantasy football because you don't really have to pay attention to football to play fantasy football. It's about the fun, and you don't get a lot of points in fantasy football with running the ball. That's why they keep hollering it's a running league. It's a passing league. It's a passing league. So the fantasy numbers will be up. But guess what? The teams that consistently win, the Ravens, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys every 2 or 3 years, Gary Clark every 2 or 3 years, because they run the damn football. Doug Williams had Art Monk and Gary Clark. Jack Clinton didn't want them coming back after that Super Bowl years, and they tore up the league. Exactly. You always get rid of the bronze. Every time, look, Doug Williams, he's supposed to start the season in front of Jay Schrader. Because if anybody in the history of the earth could hit a wide open linebacker, Jay Schrader would. I'm questioning if he wasn't colorblind. Now we knew Vinny Testaverde was colorblind, but Jay Schrader was. Whoo, he had a hammer, but he must have been hitting himself in the head with it. This Brady Belichick thing. Why y'all trying to discredit Bill Belichick? I remember third year in the NFL, Brady had one Super Bowl under his. I'm telling you, he was hitting wide open linebackers, Jay Schrader. Third year in the league, I remember seeing an interview with Tom Brady, and he said, and I quote, "I noticed that my numbers wasn't where they needed to be, so I sat down with Coach Belichick, and he taught me more than I ever knew about football." See, when you can slow in, let's look at Bill Belichick's resume. Bill Belichick was the defensive coordinator that had Lawrence Taylor. This is a defense that contained Joe Montana. This is a defense that contained that watched the Redskins juggernaut, whether it been with Joe Theismann, Warren Moon, or Mark Rippon. He contained all three of them. And wasn't nobody shutting those teams down offensively. He shut down Steve Young. He shut down he slowed down Steve Young and Joe Montana. He slowed down Randall Cunningham. He shut down that putrid Bears offense here in Chicago. Everybody was scared of that K-gun offense, and he contained that as well and won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator. So we all know he's a genius on one side of the football. But the beautiful part about being a genius on the defensive side, you can teach an offensive person what to do. Why you think catchers make the best managers in baseball? Because if you can control the ball, the game from the defensive side, you know what everybody else is doing. And Bill Belichick did that. I refuse to discredit Tom Brady because that's not what I do. I give people the credit where they do, where it's due. But for people to sit around and say, we don't know if Bill Belichick can win without that, they always go back to this Cleveland thing. But when he got there, 2 years later, he was in the playoffs and won a playoff game. But then Art Modell sent the deck up with the team when he was talking about we moving. Everything got chaotic. So I'm not going to discredit this dude, Bill Belichick. Now, we haven't seen a 6th-round pick by the name of Tom Brady do anything without Bill Belichick. Does that mean he's not Tom Brady? No. But you know what? He used to be Tom Brady 5 years ago. He's Thomas Patrick Edward Brady now. He's just a guy. So when y'all try to discredit this dude, Bill Belichick, y'all crazy. Most of my life, I don't think I was alive when Branch Rickey was alive. I don't think so. I don't know when he died, so I don't think I was alive. But I know